computer just randomly rebooted. There's probably no audio. Or hold on. My computer randomly rebooted. So just give it a minute here. I do want to finish the show today. That's okay. Are you guys, are we back? Okay. Okay. Just give me, all right, I think we're basically good to go. All right. I don't know who Cold Healing is and then also lives with, anyway, this guy wants Elon to die. The guy who Nikita is helping out. Nikita Bier is liking posts from accounts. Oh, and this is the social media one, right? But okay, this account though, this tweet has a screenshot of this person. Bugs beleaguered babysitter of the Booger brothers. 32,000 followers on Blue Sky. This symbol means pedophile. No, it means no under 18s because I post porn. That's what that means. MTG player. Model. Neon genderless evangelion. So this is like a troon porn account, okay? Professionally hot. This is like a troon OnlyFans chick. Nikita liking this thing's tweets really tells you, really kind of tells you where his head is at. Tranime. All right, so we already saw this. Elon looking into it. Nikita Bier's a triple vax Redditor manlet whose big break came from a social app for high schoolers to flirt with each other. It was his 16th app. So hold on. Pump the brakes. Let's read that last part again. Big break came from a social app for high schoolers to flirt with each other. It was his 16th app and it was shut down after 6 months due to low usage. It sucked and was weird, creepy. Now he's turning X into Reddit.
Happy birthday, Charlie.
Thank you. I don't know why it looked like that, but thank you. Oh, is it Charlie Kirk's birthday today? I saw like a tweet about some school was going to wear red and at high school, some class, and it was like a, I don't know. It was like some kind of issue. So here's some more classic Nikita takes. I will not only take the vaccine, but I'll attempt to buy a dose from an elderly person to get it before anyone else. Since we now have more vaccine appointments than people who want them, we should just reopen completely and let natural selection run its course. Monetary rewards are obvious, but digital trophies to be displayed on a user's profile would be the ultimate flex that people would talk about. I like that. The 100 million impression club. Main character for a day badge. That should actually be the name of it. So this is what they mean by turning X into Reddit. Whoa, thanks for the gold, kind stranger. I like that my sales team is literally the founder of Reddit. Okay. Then we have this Substack, which I think goes into, I didn't have time to read this morning. I wanted to, but we're going to have to just do it live. More information about, why does my view counter look all fucked up? It's like it's not loaded correctly. Let me refresh. Is X in self-destruct mode? X may blow itself up by design. The tell was when Elon appointed Nikita Bier as head of product. Let's review Bier's modus operandi and his patterns of promoting planned obsolescence. So this was written in August, so almost 2 months ago, 6 weeks ago, give or take. Nikita Bier's actual background. Nikita is often presented as the guy who built and sold the same app twice. 2 apps where teenagers can send compliments to one another. The first, TBH, an anonymous social media app designed for high school students. TBH sold to Facebook, and the second, Gas, sold to Discord. Now, most people are led through the Silicon Valley media podcasts and blog networks to think that these apps were simply about wholesome activities for teens. A good idea can take off and go viral for sure, and entrepreneurs are rewarded for concocting a good idea and executing on it. But if both apps marketed for high schoolers were so successful, why were both shuttered by their respective acquirers shortly after? TBH was shut down by Facebook 9 months after acquisition. Gas was shut down by Discord 9 months after acquisition. If you bother to look into these apps, which nobody in media seems willing to do, you'll find that these apps are data collection ops to evaluate teenagers and the spread of social trends and trend volatility in swing states during election years. Nikita Bier is a politics guy who studied political economy and post-Soviet Russia at Berkeley. His first app was called Politify, which then became Outline. Outline was a tool that allowed users to input various facts about their incomes, tax liabilities, and other personal data for which voting recommendations were returned in order to illustrate the personal finance impact competing political candidates may have they be elected.
Co-founder of Outline.com. A quick synopsis of what we do. There we go. So Outline is a platform for simulating the impacts of public policy scenarios.
A 210 in the presentation, Nikita gives away a big tell when he instructs the audience not to worry. He's not giving the data to the NSA. Then he laughs nervously and pauses. All right. The game revealed when we examined how Nikita rolled out Gas, and we can examine the version release history of Gas, originally branded as Crush, to see how this was strategically rolled out in September and October. Michigan only, then more Midwest states, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania. Only later is this Gas app fully released nationwide. Members of the 16 and 17-year-old target audience would not be able to vote in the 2022 election, but they would be able to vote in 2024. And by mapping how their social networks promote a trend and how virality spreads in these nationally important geographies, Gas is armed with strategically important data. It only gets worse when we add in the Gas sex trafficking scandal. In October 2022, accusations began circulating online that Gas had been spread throughout Midwest states, then opened up to a national audience weeks prior, was involved in sex trafficking. The story that Gas is used for human sex trafficking was spread across social media on school and law enforcement accounts, spread in person, and was featured in a segment on Oklahoma's KOCO ABC affiliate. Government to fund Rosh Hashanah pilgrim. What the fuck is this link? This is not the right. This is not the right article. People were getting scared about vans showing up after downloading the Gas app, according to Nikita Bier. It's just like totally the wrong article. Anyway. Hysteria ensued. On November 9th, one day after Election Day 2022, Taylor Lorenz of the Washington Post ran a piece deconstructing the narrative. How a viral teen app became sex trafficking hoax. Looked like the original title was different too. It was like no, something no. Debunking Gap app sex trafficking rumor. A claim at the center of this narrative that gas does not have geolocation data is baloney. This is baloney for several obvious reasons that Lorenz and others chose to ignore. Let's skip ahead a bit here. The Will Stancil op. Controversy narrative about neo-Nazis on X plotting to sexually assault a political. So is this like the Mecca Grok
Minneapolis
thing?
Man is threatening legal action after an online chatbot posted disturbing.
So this person's thesis is that they're tanking Twitter on purpose, which I do not think is actually correct. However, it's still good to know this guy's past, this guy who has so much control over what you're seeing on Twitter, maybe even who's allowed to have an account, who's allowed to be monetized. We're going to skip over the Will Stancil stuff because we're all familiar. They're 2 million right now below the API, not enough above the API. Okay. All right. I was hoping for a little bit more about like how the gas app was like a scam or whatever, but it seemed like we kind of glossed over that part at the end of that segment. Anyway, so the reason he became a somebody was because he made an app for teens to date. And I guess that's like the end of the Nikita section. So there you go. Wiggle Will. All right. Nick did a podcast conversation with Gavin McInnes. Here's them talking about the U.S. Liberty.
But Israel, they blow up our ship and we don't do anything.
The USS Liberty?
Mm-hmm. That's just one example.
I think that was a friendly fire.
Brother. my white brother.
I mean, what makes you think it wasn't?
Because they were flying a giant American flag. They radioed
It's not
in.
giant when you're in a fighter jet going, Yow!
Well, the people on the boat said it was unmistakable. They knew what they were doing. They came in and shot the lifeboats.
The people on the boat are mad because all their friends died.
They got shot.
We're not allowed to use the people on the boat.
Yeah.
That's like when people go, what if your daughter was raped? And you're like, well, I wouldn't be rational at that point. But it looked like an Egyptian boat. I don't understand why you'd want to provoke an attack when you're in a 6-day war with all these other countries, why you'd want to get America against you too. They approached the USS Liberty first and got shot at, so they couldn't verify. So the only really proof we have is the little flag, which from a fighter jet is not easily identified.
We also have the eyewitness testimony, which I agree maybe there's a bias, but they do all claim to this day that it was a deliberate attack. They said that they radioed in, they waved the flag. And the purpose, why would they do it? It was to conceal their troop movements, because when they were doing the 6-day war, they didn't want their operations to be foiled.
What was America even doing there? They said they weren't going to be there. They denied their existence there.
We were spying on them.
Okay, so we have no evidence. I'm saying we. They have no evidence that the.
Careful. Yeah.
We have no evidence that the boat was even going to be there. What are you doing? We're not going to be there. Mm-hmm. A boat approaches. They get attacked. Mm-hmm. They fly over. It looks exactly like an Egyptian boat. And yeah, friendly fire kills 30 people. They killed 12 Israeli soldiers in that war by accident. They're regularly killing their own hostages.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's their doctrine. That's their military doctrine, is to kill their own hostages.
Right, but killing their own people, killing people that they weren't meant. Killing the hostages when they weren't prepared to kill the hostages. Mm-hmm. Too early, I guess, is what I'm saying. But, you know, friendly fire is part of war. Vietnam, we lost tens of thousands of troops, and it was very unfortunate. I don't think it's a good example of Israel attacking us. I think there's more evidence that it was friendly fire.
Okay. What here? Hanging out with Jake Shields made Gavin go lie down and drink a beer from him talking about Jews too much.
Not the Jews. I'm fucking sick of talking about Jews. I remember Cernovich said that once. He goes, I'm happy to talk about the Jews and Israel like once a month. But I need a fucking break. Like hanging out with Jake Shields, I had to lie down after. Because it was this. Then we drove to the city, it was all Jews. Then we went to 9/11, the memorial, that was all Jews. Jews did that. And then it was like, I had to go get a beer at that point. I was just fucking.
All right. This is the really funny one here. This one's hilarious.
Yeah, but every sane, rational Jew would agree with you on that.
I don't think they would. I think that people like Shapiro and many conservative Jews, they love to see these pro-Palestine people getting kicked out. They say they're terrorists. The Heritage Foundation came up with that policy.
All right, let's call them then. I'm going to call a Jew.
Which one?
I can't tell you. They want to be anonymous. But so your contention is that a lot of Jews are happy with people being deported for anti-Semitic beliefs. Okay, I'll ask if we can say who he is. This guy represents all Jews, by the way.
Hello?
Hey, can I say who you are?
Of course.
This is Ron Coleman on the line. Nick is under the impression that most Jews are cool with people being deported for having anti-Semitic beliefs.
That's funny. No, I think the vast majority of people being reported or
People
deported,
being-
or people who,
Students
people who
on
are
visas.
here on a visa.
Students on visas, like at
Oh.
Columbia.
I think most Jews are cool with that. Yeah.
All right. Thanks for calling.
It's like Gavin's doing it on purpose, man. It's like he's playing the role of the well-meaning devil's advocate, but he keeps getting wrecked. It reminds me of that Vincent James debate with Nick was there and that other guy, Adam King. Kind of same thing. Like it's just so perfect, you know. It's so perfect. It's hard to believe he's not doing it on purpose. What else? Matt Walsh says it's a greater crime in the U.S. to say the N-word than it is for a black person to kill a white person.
The mob that tried unsuccessfully to cancel Shiloh Hendricks was far, far more outraged over Shiloh saying the N-word than they were over Carmelo Anthony stabbing somebody to death. Indeed, many of them actively supported Carmelo Anthony murdering Austin Metcalf. They rewarded him financially for it. And this is all part of the preposterous racial double standard that has defined American culture for generations now. It is a double standard that declares it a greater crime for a white person to say a word than for a black person to kill a white person. In fact, killing a white person could even be a just punishment for saying that word, according to these standards. The rules surrounding this word, the moral weight granted to it, the arbitrary guidelines drawn around it, it's all nonsense. It's all indefensible on both moral and intellectual grounds.
Let the white kids say nigger. I can't say it because I'm gonna get banned on Facebook and Twitch, if not YouTube. Let the white kids say the hard R, man. Just let them say it. Obviously, legally speaking, it's not a worse crime, but we all know what he means socially. You know, a person going on a racist tirade or whatever is going to go viral on social media and get a lot more hate than a story about a black person killing a white person. Generally speaking, right? The Irina thing went super viral because of the video, because the video was so shocking and graphic. Yeah, I think I'm okay because of the way that I said it, but you got to be, I don't want to have to do these half measures. I want to just let it rip. I want to let it rip the way Angry Patriot did on the Fresh and Fit podcast. All right, and this brings us to, I guess, basically our last segment of the day here, which is Taylor Swift is once again a far right. She's our girl. She's / our gal once again. Taylor Swift, as you may or may not know, recently put out a new album, and there's kind of a funny divide happening in her fan base where you have like the older 30-somethings, because she also just got married or engaged or whatever, I guess engaged to Kelsey Travis, the football player. And so the older Swifties are like, oh God, it's still possible for me. I still have a chance. Like, they're so happy. But the younger ones are like, oh my God, Taylor joined the patriarchy. She's MAGA now. She wants to have white babies. This is evil. I posted this, a lyric from her new song, Canceled. Good things I like my friends canceled. I like him cloaked in white robes with eye holes cut out. Turns out that's not the real lyric. But there's people who have been around a long time remember that Taylor used to be like a right-wing meme. Like, they would post her in like Nazi outfits and shit like that. Or I guess the real lyric is I like him cloaked in Gucci and in Scandal, which is a lot less cool. This is a real headline, I'm pretty sure. With 14 short words, Taylor Swift just taught a brilliant lesson in leadership. Pretty sure that was like a real headline from like 2015 or something. Okay. Anyway, putting the meme aside here, they're genuinely mad at her. Oh God, I got to fix this, but my, hold on. My BitLocker keeps locking my D drive, and I have to unlock it every time. Don't steal my code, you guys. Don't steal my BitLocker code, because these were like F5. Why can't I refresh?
Taylor Swift is
All right, there we go. Okay. So they're genuinely like saying that she's like MAGA now because of her new album.
The conservative agenda on a silver platter to the masses. And before I go any further, and before you argue with me, you cannot convince me that the master lyricist of our generation, akin to Shakespeare, the Eastern...
Let me stop you right there. Akin to Shakespeare? You don't think that's a bit much? Master lyricist akin to Shakespeare? Okay. Hey, I like Taylor Swift as much as the next guy, okay? Haters gonna shake, 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 shake. I like that shit. It's catchy. Akin to Shakespeare, let's not go fucking crazy.
egg master of our generation is not aware of what her entire optics and lyrics and album and everything is giving at this very moment. And before you suggest that this was supposed to be a satirical album, I would like to remind you how she feels about this album in her own words.
World to me to have this creative experience where like we knew that we had to bring the best ideas we've ever had.
Yeah.
And I also know the pressure I'm putting on this record by saying that, but I don't care because I love it that much. And there's not other ones coming. This is the record I've been wanting to make for a very long time.
I'll try to rapid fire this as fast as I can so that my video is not an hour long, but we're going to start with the rollout of the album, the announcement of the album on
That Shake It Off song is about accepting homosexuality. What? Classic, never actually listened to the song. It's Silverchair all over again.
our boyfriend's football podcast. Our boyfriend who plays for the NFL, who we are now aligning our brand with, who is one of the most racist and problematic industries in our country. Yeah.
Right, so the NFL is, you're dealing with a dyed in the wool woke tard when the NFL is racist. The NFL made more black millionaires than probably any industry in America. Maybe the music industry can compete, but I'm not even sure about that.
Listen, I don't know how long Taylor Swift's been doing this, but I know it's been a pretty good amount of time. She's worked pretty hard.
It's like that, who's that guy? Kaepernick? Like Kaepernick making that video about how the NFL is slavery, how we used to be on the plantation, but now we're on the football plantation. It's like, yeah, basically the same thing. You're good point.
For her career. Why are we sharing what you are saying is the best piece of work you've ever put out, and you're going to share it with a man? You're going to announce it with a... This is where the optics are starting. We are creeping our way down the conservative pipeline, and before you say that's a reach, I'm not done. We all know what's coming next, the engagement. They got engaged as a package deal with the album rollout. Yes, they did. The album was announced, and 2 days later, it was announced that they were engaged. We could talk about how manufactured that is. We could talk about how inauthentic it is. We could also talk about how it is yet another step towards the conservative pipeline. Now, if you're unaware about her history,
let's just do the last one.
With the orange man, he didn't like her very much. He, in all caps, I hate Taylor Swift. She's a childless cat lady. I want you to bank that for later in the video. But once this engagement happened, we had a public statement put out by Pumpkin Man. And he said, wow, Taylor Swift, you know what? She's a great person. She's a terrific person even. And I'm very happy for them. I wish them best in their marriage. Okay. Now, I'm not claiming that Taylor Swift can control what that man says or that they are partnering in these words. No, I'm not saying that. But the U.S. has a history of using pop culture to further a political agenda. She's doing...
Is it possible, if we were going to be charitable, if you want to hear the Silverchair thing, you got to listen to the start of the show. Today's show, I talked about it today. Is it possible that when Donald Trump tweeted, "I hate Taylor Swift," he just meant he doesn't like her music and he doesn't like hearing her music? And then when she got engaged, he congratulated her on her engagement.
What he wants everyone else to do is to get married and have white babies. What I do know that she can control is the
Dude, I mean, it's funny, but it's also horrifying because you have like a pretty white girl here. I'm assuming she's not Jewish, although I guess that's possible. And she is like, she thinks she's exposing evil because she's figured out that white couples who get married make white babies. That's insane.
that she puts out. And I'm just going to jump right into it. Canceled is an anthem for those who are over being politically correct. And we're breaking down the wall of shame that it means to be canceled. Taylor Swift says it's okay now to be canceled, and that's actually cool. And maybe if I'm canceled, I could be her friend. See where we're taking steps. When I first heard the lyric, "I'm not a bad bitch and I'm not a savage," if that is not the most dog whistly shit I've ever heard in my life. Moving on to wish list, let's take a moment for these lyrics.
Wait, so I'm not a bad bitch, I'm not a savage. She's saying I'm white. I'm not a sav. That's so funny. That's so funny. The lyric is like her saying like I'm just a quirky white girl, you know. I'm not, you know, I'm just normal. And they're like, wow, the dog whistle. Savage. So what, you're not Native American?
They want a fat ass and a baby face. They want freedom. They want $3 3 dogs they call their kids. But I just want you. Have a couple kids.
Wow, actually, she's kind of convincing me here now. Hold on. I just want you. Oh, she didn't show the other. What it was, they want 3 dogs they call their kids. So is she actually taking shots at libtards for real?
Have a couple kids. Have the whole block looking like you.
Damn.
I'll say that again. I want
White ethno state. You know what? Taylor is our gal. She wants the whole block looking like Travis Kelce.
to have
Based? I'm
your
actually
white
coming
babies
around.
and
I'm coming
actually
around on the
trying
thesis
your hair
here.
to be racially homogenous. She went through this
Based?
entire thing with Trump, right? About how she and her fan base did not like being called childless cat ladies. And now Taylor is calling y'all childless cat ladies because she's about to pop out some kids. And you know what's coming next? Taylor Swift line of baby product. You too could pop out some kids and live in a racially homogenous neighborhood. This one was
Nice.
very much giving pick me. I thought that we learned our lesson with the she wears short skirts, I wear t-shirts. The pick me song of all pick me songs. This is that in this different font, but more worse. Do you understand? Not to mention the blatant disrespect that it is to put a song about Travis Kelce's over a Jackson 5 interpolation.
What?
This all feels so blatantly obvious to me. The pipeline that
Oh, because I haven't heard the song in question. I haven't actually full disclosure. I haven't listened to the new album, you guys. But there's a song where she sings about Travis Kelce's dick over Jackson 5, and that's bad because they're black and he's white. Got it.
we are sliding.
Kind of want to listen to that one now. I know it sounds gay that I want to listen to a song about a guy's dick, but I'm just curious now. Like the fact that she would write a song
Evergreen
about a
Dream
guy's
said
dick.
$10 on Rumble. I truly believe these people are subconsciously projecting when they talk about conservative media directing the way the audience will think. Have they tried applying this thought to 99% of media?
I'm not sure. Thank you for the $10. I'm not sure if I agree. I'm not sure if I understand exactly what you mean.
Down, especially with her bestie. The same week that the album was announced, Lana Del Rey came out with this cover. The fuck?
We're so back.
Feel like I'm on the show Pranked and also on Black Mirror. It's the crossover episode. This is where I'm going to add, the comment that Travis Kelce made.
That's funny because I feel the same sort of horrific, skin crawling dystopia. What the fuck is when I listen to you, when I hear how bothered you are about white people being happy together, white women dressing up as housewives from the 50s, when I see how horrified you are by that, I also feel like I'm in some kind of nightmare simulation.
Being honored to play football for Orange Man. And this is where I'm also going to answer your question. Well, does she owe us her political opinions? She's just a pop star. Well, yes, she does. She is a white woman with one of the most massive platforms in our world today. In Miss Americana, she platformed herself as an ally and monetized off of that. So do I expect a white woman with the biggest platform in the world to make moves with politics? Yeah, I do.
Well, boo-hoo, bitch, she's ours now.
$10. They know leftist media programs people the way they fearmonger over conservative media. They just think they're morally correct. They take it as a given.
They know leftist media programs people the way they fearmonger. Right. Yes. Well, yes. I don't think she would contend with that at all. She just admitted it, that she wants Taylor to be politically left. But don't be a sore loser. Taylor's ours now, bitch. Deal with it. Taylor's goose stepping out on stage for the next one. All right, we got a couple more, but these are shorter.
Is she bringing back the white baby contest?
What is that? What is the white baby contest?
The Life of a Showgirl is the kind of album that you release under an authoritarian regime. That's a comment someone left on my initial album reaction video, and let me tell you all the reasons why that's true. In our current political climate of a government shutdown, increased censorship in my own city of Chicago, military-style ICE raids where they're zip-tying children and arresting aldermen, some will argue that The Life of a Showgirl is a necessary reprieve. This is an album that celebrates joy, and the lyrics might not be that deep, and they might not say that much, but it allows us to have fun. I agree that her lyricism has drastically decreased in quality on this album, but she's saying a lot more than nothing. In fact, what she says is actually glaring, and she's saying that she's aligning herself with MAGA and the conservative right. She does this through misogyny, anti-blackness, and an explicit honesty about how she uses her power and exploits it for profit. I personally think Taylor Swift is tone deaf and petty, so when she's coming for Travis's ex-girlfriend saying that she was only with him for fame or money, something she's totally never done before, that she doesn't realize she's throwing the weight of her billionaire status and the entire music industry at a black woman. When she says she wants to have kids and have the whole block looking like you, she's not thinking.
It's literally all just white bad, black good. Like, you can listen to these people talk for like 20 minutes straight, but all it comes down to is white bad, black good. Like, oh, she criticized Kelsey's ex-girlfriend, who is black, and did she ever think about like the power dynamics of attacking a black woman?
About the fact that she's hinting that she wants to surround herself with whiteness. When she says, I'm not a bad bitch, I'm not a savage, she doesn't realize she comes off...
Oh, it's not even...
Quasargoon sent $10 on Rumble. Tadolf Swiftler has been memed into existence. Next I want her to do a Mr. Bond cover album.
Thank you, Quasargoon. It's not even I'm not a savage, it's just this isn't savage. And then it's like just how she's like it's like a love song. She's like, I'm in love. You know what I mean? So it's not like I'm not a bad bitch. It's like, no, I need you. I'm vulnerable is the point here.
Not a savage. She doesn't realize she comes off sounding like Lana Del Rey's Question for the Culture. She thinks she's just talking about the way people talk on the internet, but those lyrics are heavily associated with black female musicians. Me saying that is not letting Taylor Swift off the hook. Her music is not existing in a vacuum.
White baby contest was an old trend with alt-right women competing for how many babies they could have.
Oh, well, shit. Let's bring that back. Let's bring that back. We need prizes.
And on some level, she had to know that a song celebrating people who are canceled would resonate with the right. For our supposed English teacher, Taylor Swift has said nothing about the state of reading in this country, the fact that politicians are bullying school leaders into censoring books according to ideological preferences. When Taylor got engaged, Trump literally wished her well and said that she's a fantastic person. 1 year ago, he was tweeting that I hate Taylor Swift. So in the end, forget Miss Americana. She's just another billionaire protecting her self-interest.
Oh, yeah, because there was big rumors that Taylor Swift was going to endorse Kamala. Or did she? Did she endorse Taylor Swift? Endorse... She did. So she formally endorsed Kamala. So that's what Trump was tweeting about. And then Kamala got her shit pushed in by King Trump. And so now it's all water under the bridge.
And aligning herself with the conservative.
Okay. One more. Wait, not this one. This is...
Taylor Swift's new album is many things.
Oh, God, it's 6 minutes. All right, let's try.
Unfortunately, good is not one of them. I knew the album wasn't going to be good as soon as the title was revealed, but the promo pics made me curious, so I have listened to the album in full. And now, having listened to it, the album's problem is glaringly obvious. The problem is Taylor Swift is aging out of being a white girl. Before you scroll, let me cook. When Taylor was a teenager, she wanted to be a pop star, so her parents decided to take the country route. Keep in mind, this is the 2000s. Pop music was highly sexual, it was sleazy, and then you had things like bling rap. It's not a place for a little white girl. Country music, on the other hand, loves a little white girl, and she's blonde, they'll eat her up. So her family moved from Pennsylvania to Tennessee to launch her country career. That's why for the first several years of her career, she faked a southern accent. She was trying to fit in, seem authentic. Once the pop landscape started to change the late 2000s and early 2010s, that's when she started to transition to making pop music. And now to talk about white girls. White girls don't have sex. They don't know what that is. White girls they're cute, they're adorable, they're like dolls, they're precious, they have to be protected. Do you remember a couple months ago whenever parents would bring their kids to Sabrina Carpenter shows and then act aghast because Sabrina Carpenter, who is a highly sexual artist, was referencing sex on stage? Of course.
The anti-white programming is so deep, it's so embedded that things that are like obviously good have to be twisted to be bad just because they're white. So like not being a whore for young women is bad because non-white races are more whorish than the white ones. So that means not being a whore is bad actually because it becomes associated with being white. And it's like counterpoint, it's good to not be a whore. Did you ever think of that one?
Wandering Neanderthal sent $5. Pop music in the 2000s was sexual and creepy. Not at all like nowadays.
Yeah. I know, she says that and then she immediately goes to, and now people go to Sabrina Carpenter concerts and they're like, wow, why is she dressed like a whore?
Of course they were, because how could a short, cute little white girl who is also blonde, a blonde, cute little white girl, how could she possibly know what sex is? It's the assumption. Women having sexual freedom and willingly engaging in sex is highly associated with blackness. You can see this most clearly when it comes to things like Disney and Nickelodeon stars. Miley Cyrus, she was Hannah Montana, all-American girl. And what does she do whenever she wanted to shed the Disney image and say, hey, I'm not just a little girl anymore? She releases Can't Be Tamed in bangers. Ariana Grande, another cute little white girl. What does she do whenever she wants to shed the childhood image? She releases Dangerous Woman in Sweetener. They would do things like hang out with rappers. They would incorporate black music styles into their own music. So that way whenever they'd be sexual, it's like, oh, I'm not just a little white girl anymore. And over time, they would drift away from that because that wasn't who they authentically were. They were just using that as a way to escape the chains of being a white girl. Taylor Swift has never had to do that, and why would she? She makes...
Yeah, so she's not wrong, but it just shows the problem with the culture being so anti-white. It's the same reason little white girls who aren't pop stars, not porn stars. It's the same reason little white girls who aren't pop stars like transition and shit like that, because they're trying to get away from this thing that they've been told is bad. And it's like, that's a huge fucking problem actually. And it's a reason white people shouldn't have to subject themselves to these alien cultures that demonize their own cultures and try to make them seem bad through guilt tripping.
Being a white girl so fucking profitable. And the thing about Taylor Swift is that being a white girl is not just profitable for her, it's her entire brand. Because she's just like so awkward. And whenever she dances on stage, she's like bad because she's like awkward. And she loves like cats and baking and like hanging out with her fans. And she would likely continue with this forever, except for one small problem. Taylor Swift is 35 years old. And it's not like she's showing signs of aging or anything, but the brand of being a white girl...
Disclaimer, I'm not being ageist. I'm not saying that you stop being hot at 35. However, that's what they say.
Is very much being a white girl. What happens in a few years whenever she's 40? What happens whenever she starts to get wrinkles? Once you're middle-aged, it's not cute anymore to be awkward. So she's aging out of being a white girl, but she doesn't have a brand.
The fact that white girl goes all the way up to 35 is telling of itself.
Or really even a sense of self outside of being a white girl.
We live in a really infantilized culture.
Also, low-key, this is the entire key to her relationship with Travis Kelce, which is not going to go well, but that's a story for another day. And keep in mind, the world has been moving on. An artist like Sabrina Carpenter could not exist 10 years ago. There was nowhere in the pop landscape for her. For like a cute little white girl who's that sexual. It didn't exist. And then on top of that, things have been rapidly changing politically.
Hey, ever heard of Madonna, lady? I'm sure there's tons of examples you could come up with.
So people want different things from women now. And The Life of a Showgirl is a testament to Taylor's inability to rise to the occasion. Like on the
Britney Spears, her stuff was pretty sexual.
Song Wish List. Oh, everybody wants bright lights and designer things, and they want like a fat ass. But me, then we get to the chorus, but me, I just want to have all of your kids. I want to have all of your kids, and then I want to live in a house, and I want the driveway to have a basketball hoop in it for our kids. And Taylor's personal struggle between her being her own woman and her being a cute little white girl is really
Wandering
embodied by the
Neanderthal
song
sent
Wood.
$5 rabid leftist. A woman calls Taylor a hag. Horseshoe theory vindicated again.
She's an old hag now, so she has to change her theme, change her branding.
It's called Wood because it's in reference to Travis Kelce's that. But the song isn't sexual at all because
Whoa, hold on. Who's the awkward little white girl now? Hypocrite much? You can't say dick.
Song isn't about sex. It's about
Because you're too awkward and innocent. It's fine, by the way. It's fine. I'm just saying, why pretend like it's a bad thing just so you can get a dunk on Taylor Swift?
And justifying the fact that she has sex. The song starts with her picking petals off of a daisy. Oh, he loves me not. Taylor portrays herself as being super insecure until Travis Kelce digmatizes her and opens up her eyes. And keep in mind, white girls cannot be sexual beings. It's not that she has sexual feelings, it's that a man came along and unlocked it in her. The curse was lifted. You see, you guys, it's not about sex at all. It's about love. His love was the key that opened my thighs. I don't have sexual feelings. I'm just a little white girl. Because this album is supposed to be her embodying her sexual energy, thus Life of a Showgirl. But Taylor either feels unable or isn't willing or whatever it is you want it to be. Taylor doesn't actually embody it. She doesn't explore it because the embodiment of her sexual energy would come at the expense of the brand of Taylor Swift. It's seemingly not compatible, or at least she thinks or her team thinks that it's not compatible. So she has to be her own fully embodied grown woman in order to keep up with the times, but she also has...
Look, I'm not going to pretend like Taylor Swift isn't kind of fake and manufactured and her image is very curated and that they probably do have like focus groups talking about her fucking PR and what have you. But it's kind of, having said that, it's kind of telling that it doesn't even ever like occur to the libtard that maybe this is just like what she wants to do. But like maybe Taylor Swift's thought process doesn't involve any of this shit. And it's just like, she just is kind of, she's just not a whore, basically. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know how else to say it.
To be like a cute little white girl in order to keep up with the brand of Taylor Swift. And in trying to do both, she successfully does nothing. I would be really curious to know if the album was even her idea, especially since so many of the songs sound like rejected tracks off of some of her old albums. Also, how are you gonna have an album called Life of a Showgirl and yet not a single fucking song on the album has a brass section? Showgirl music is big band, it's blaring horns, it's a hell of a lot of fun. And it just did not exist on this album. Not to mention, none of the songs actually have anything to do
Probably her most fair criticism, yeah.
with being a showgirl. And really not even the song The Life of a Showgirl. Like, she could have just used the word follies once and I would have been satisfied. But discussing why the music isn't good sonically is not really the purpose of this video. If you have any questions or you disagree with me, please let me know. I love thinking about white women, and Taylor Swift is just, she's the embodiment of it. She really is.
Early life check on that one. Sought fog. Okay. I've said it for a long time that I don't. Is that, are you even allowed to in Washington? I've been slow getting this. Just I've had a lot of shit going on here. Okay, I'm very pressed for. I know it's not a good excuse, but I've been meaning to get more on top of that. I just haven't really had a chance yet. I really am busy. Taylor Swift having kids will factory reset a lot of women, and we will experience another baby boom. I mean, hopefully these Jews. Is she Jewish? I don't know. She probably isn't. But that last line, like, I didn't even really consider that she would be until that last line where she was like, I just love thinking about white women. I was like, that's weird. Sought fog. What do you guys think? Hey, I'm 6'5". Don't, to quote Kanye West, don't take inches off my dick. Hey, Pierce, don't take inches off my dick. That was such a funny thing to say. Oh, man. How can you not like, yay?
Evergreen Dream sent $5 on Rumble. Dysgenic white women shame white women for being too prudish. Dysgenic brown men shame white women for being too whorish. Which is it?
Yeah, I think probably you're right. Yeah, that makes sense. All right, whatever. Okay, you guys. Yeah, that's gonna be the show for today. Sorry about the reset and all that, but thank you for watching. Thank you for everybody who sent in the super chats. I appreciate the support, and I will be back on Thursday with another show, and I will try to do a members video this week as well, though I'm not sure what. But you guys enjoy your Tuesday, your Wednesday, and I will catch you on the flip side. Peace out.